Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be doing my AFL fantasy review of the early Sunday game, in that of the Gold Coast vs Geelong game, in which I, again, like I routinely do, predicted the wrong result, and the Premiers are 0-3 for the first time in 50, 60 years, something like that. It was something ridiculous. I want to say it was either 1950s or 1970s that the last time that this has happened. So before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe. My other 3 reviews will be coming out shortly as well. There was a little bit of delay as I couldn't record this morning, but I'm doing it this afternoon, so yeah. Anyway, let's get on to the video now. So in here you can see I've got this up again, and let me go to here. Let me go switch that just to help. No. Fine, there we go. So that's better. Yeah, this game, it wasn't really a good game for fantasy wise, other than Tom Stewart, who is a guy that I'm looking at, in the sense that I want to wait another week because there's some other trades that you've probably already seen me make. I just had to get rid of Bruin. That was we'll get to his score. We'll talk about him now, honestly. Yeah, -3 in the first quarter, 16-20, and then a 9. I just, needed another 10-15 more points out of him, to be honest, but he just doesn't get the role that we need, and he's got too much bench time. Like, he's sitting at 68%, 68 minutes time on ground, and his time on ground, if I go over to, not that either. Man, I'm not clicking right at the moment. And I go over to Tanner Bruin. As you can see, those are my trades. He had a 58% time on ground, so it's just getting progressively worse and worse and worse, and I thought Tom Stewart would help him, but it just seems like he just isn't getting the midfield time that we need from him, or just not getting on the ball enough. So that's why he's pretty terrible. So I'll first go through Gold Coast and then I'll go through Geelong, but I guess that was the only guy that was really fantasy relevant for me, or big relevance. McPherson and Lukosius and Weller all went 90s. McPherson, I wasn't really watching this game too much. I watched it the first half and then switched over to the Swans game. And yeah, he just dominated the first half, and I'll have to see what was his AFL teams. I'll look up the actual teams because I don't know terribly much about this game. And you have McPherson and Weller off the half back, so that was really good. And the coaches kicked 5 in the end, I believe it was, including a bomb from like 75 out or something. It was ridiculous, to the point that it shouldn't have gone in. That was how far out it was. But yeah, McPherson looked good. The coaches, just kicked a lot of goals, which really helped his how well he scored. And then you got Miller down at 88, so he's dropping. He's going to drop, probably 30k, I'm guessing, Miller. Where is Miller? He dropped 24k for a miss of his break-even of 38. So, yeah, it's roughly 6 for every 60% of the score that they miss, they go down in price by. So that's the reference point. Or probably a little bit more, actually. More like 65% of the score that they missed their break-even by. So if they miss their break-even by 40, I expect them to go down by about 25k or so. So you have Witts as well, 81. He just, it didn't seem too wet, to be honest, for what they were touting it to be at. And Witts ended up with, what did he end up? Only 35 hitouts. So maybe he wasn't the choice. I want to see one or two more games with him, and then maybe switch to go to Darcy or English. There's still time with Witts, and he only went down 4k and scored up 44k overall, so he's bridged some of the gap to English, I believe, but English has also gone up 36k, so I wish I'd gone for English, but I mean, Witts isn't that bad of an option. He's only averaging like 10, 12 less. Then we get Holman here, 80, good third quarter. Wasn't watching then. Swallow had a really good second quarter. Raul, pretty disappointing first half, which is kind of annoying because Raul was one that I thought maybe he was going to turn the corner, but I don't think he will now, looking at these. I think he's just going to be that type of guy that averages 80, 85 again. I think he just had a little upturn at the start. Noah Anderson, no one really stands out here. And then you have no Constable, which was why Weller came back in and did really well. I mean, he was there, I'm pretty sure, last week and did pretty well as well. So he's a guy that I'm looking at as well, just to see how he does. And then, yeah, basically no one else here is any fancy relevance from Gold Coast. We do have to look out from Gold Coast for Humphrey. He's been pretty good in the VFL, and I think he could be on for a debut sometime soon. Then we move over to Geelong, and it was, the Tom Stewart show, basically. Dominated every quarter except for the third, where he only scored 16. If you take that out, he's got 110 through the 3 other quarters. Smith, again, somehow, he doesn't seem like he should get much fancy points, but he just pops up and gets big scores. Jazzy Cameron, again, went big. Huge third quarter to try and get the Cats back into the game, but just couldn't get them back in. Guthrie somehow popped up for 96 this game, following a 98 from last game. And I know it's not a good move to get him at the moment, because there's just other guys that could easily have a better volatility and have a good upstroke of 3 or 4 weeks where they score average 120, 115 and gain value, whereas Guthrie's just going to be that guy to average 100 or so, and be the guy that we want to bring in at the later half of the season to do well. Anyone else really here? Bose, good. He's now got a 80 and a 77, so he's starting to do well. Mears, Tui, no one else here really of much relevance. And then, we talked about Bruin, and then you got the injuries of DeConing, and who else got injured? Someone else. Holman had a potential injury wherever he is, but I think he'll be fine. And there was someone else that might have been injured as well, but I don't think I can't name them off the top of my head. But that's basically the review of this game. This was just a not too fancy relevant game, I don't think, or at least now at the present time it isn't. I think there's the main takeaways are probably Lockie Weller's a guy to put a little bit of interest on, as well as Stewart, and get rid of a lot of the Geelong youngsters, as Scott just doesn't like to play them. So that's my review of the Geelong Gold Coast game, and I'll see you guys in another video. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.